I think I should do the tier list video.
I get it! It's mine Z!
Hello, everybody. My name is Zoey with a Y, and welcome to the Danganronpa V3 tier list video. Fucking finally. It has been a very long time since I last played this game. I beat it back in June. It is now October, and depending on if I procrastinate enough, this might release in November. Hopefully that doesn't happen. However, I am motivated this time. I just want to record something. So here I have every single Danganronpa V3 character. It doesn't have the Monocubs because no one cares, honestly. And they're not really characters. They're just husks of human self. So no, I'm not gonna rank them. But if I did, they would like all be up here. So there's that for you. It has been a while since I, actually played V3, so my memory of some of these characters, like, things might be a little shaky, but it should still be fine, how hard could it be, Anyway, we're gonna get things started here. Let's go with good old Angie Yonaga. This girl is the ultimate artist, a thing that somehow wasn't done until the 53rd Danganronpa. An artist seems a lot more likely to do than an Aikido master. Anyway, this is Angie. She's very religious, and she's the, semi-antagonist of Chapter 3. And, honestly, I don't like her. I don't think she's very fun. It's something weird about Angie to me that it's right before Chapter 3. She's not that bad. She's a happy character and everything. And, she has funny lines, funny sprites and everything like that. But when Chapter 3 starts, she just becomes, her actions make it all completely sound extremely condescending and manipulative and annoying. In context of what she's doing, it just seems like it really brings her down for me, because it makes me feel like her being like a manipulative pastor or whatever is like all she can really do. She can do art. Yes, she's great at doing art. Like, she did the entire replicas of the first 4 deaths, but it's not what she focuses on. It's not what I feel like the game explores. It explores her being a massive dickhead. That's what it explores. I don't, hate her guts outright, because I still think in context what she was trying to do was distract everyone from the killing game. But it doesn't seem that way when you're also trying to make everyone under your spell, for lack of a better term. For that reason, she's like a D tier, I'm not big on her. Like, she was fine at the start, and then she just got worse and worse, and I do not like her. It was pretty obvious she was gonna die, though, so that's fine. Gonta Gokuhara. I went into this kind of scared of this guy, just like everyone else in the game, and then I kind of liked him. I grew to like the guy. He's a big, lovable dude. He wants to be a gentleman, and he has perfect vision in one eye or something, and he likes bugs. Part of my issue with Gonta is that he's still easily manipulative, which kind of makes for a lot of dumb plot points that I just don't really like the insect meet and greet was a big part of Chapter 2, and then him being a killer in Chapter 4 was basically because of the same thing. He was kind of just manipulated by Kokichi. It just doesn't That's sort of the issue with Gonta I have, but it's not that much worse because I still feel for the guy whenever it happens. He's still very much cared for people, and he took his execution like a champ. um, it's hard not to hate. It's hard to hate Gonta. It's really hard to hate Gonta. He's an A tier. It's hard to hate him. That's the way it is. Himiko Yumeno goes in S tier. My favorite character in V3 by far. I don't think anyone will top it. It's I don't know. When I started the game, I looked at Himiko and said, "Okay, you're pretty neat. I think I'm gonna like you." And then I was so happy when she became a survivor, because holy hell, my previous two favorite characters never survived past chapter 3. And my previous two favorite characters were Chihiro and Ibuki. So I really need this one to perform really well, and she did. Everything she does, I just like. She's funny, her personality's great, her character arc's great, and, you know, I think she deserves a survivor title, honestly. I think it would be wasted potential if, you know, she lost Angie and Tenko, two people she cared about very much, and then died as well. I think it would have been wasted because she needed to survive to carry on their legacy and their memory or whatever. So I think her surviving is a very good thing. You know? She's just my favorite. I can, you know, I can talk about her all day, but I won't because I don't want to. And also I got other characters to talk about. But S tier, Himiko. Always and forever. Never anywhere lower. Kibo. This guy, he's fine. He's not anything crazy. He's just whatever. Kibo is a funny case of being someone that you wanted to see go far to me, but not really caring if he did otherwise. He's a robot. His thing is like, he just kind of is a robot. He's just a guy, you know. There's nothing crazy. He's one of the few characters I feel like I don't have much to say about, because despite him living to the end of the game and sacrificing himself at the end, it's like, I don't know. There's not much to say. He's a robot. He's like the audience's camera, I guess, and which is really funny when you consider that Miu was posted up on Kibo in that one scene. I don't know. Kibo's like he's fine. I don't hate the guy. He's just kind of there to me. Like, he's not annoying. He's not my favorite. He's just a solid B. You know, there's nothing really to him that. There's nothing really to him that I feel can be said. He's the most B tier character I've ever seen. I know some people who hate him, and like, yeah, sure, I could see why. His robophobic shtick can get a little annoying, but he kind of stops doing that near the end. Not for any like real development reason, he just kind of stops. Kaede Akamatsu. I feel robbed. I feel robbed of my goat. I was so excited to have a Danganronpa game with a female protagonist. And yeah, Ultra Despair Girls had Komaru, but that's also Ultra Despair Girls. This was a Danganronpa V3. The main game of the series. Like, the third main game of the series. That wasn't complete shit. This was what it was supposed to be. I was so super excited to have Kaede as a protagonist, and then she died, and I was pissed because at least at the time we got someone who was infinitely less interesting, less funny, and less memorable than Kaede was at that point. And I was mad. I was real mad. But I got over it. I got over it eventually. Kaede was also just very, very fun. She was great. I don't really see any flaws with her. She was very kind to a lot of people. She was very, expressive and everything. One thing I think I mentioned in the Ultra Despair Girls video is that I liked how the protagonist this time around had sprites as well, and you can actually see them interact with characters, which is an issue I did have with Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc, and Danganronpa 2, that you never got to see the main protagonists actually talk outside of the trials, and that kind of docks their personality a bit, because as a result you can kind of make the character yourself in a way, because you're getting in their head and everything like that. But this game kind of avoids that by giving the protagonist sprites as well as, everything else. And that's why Kaede spoke a lot to me, because she could have just been a normal protagonist for all I care, but the fact that you saw her express herself and she had many different sprites and emotions made her skyrocket up the tier list for me. And I feel robbed as hell. And especially when I found out that Kaede didn't even fucking kill Rantaro. But we'll get to that. Anyway, S tier Kaede. Sorry, Kaede haters. I know there's a lot of you for some reason, but Kaito Momota. He's a solid guy. He's a solid character. Kaito is a little bit weird to me because he's probably one of the only characters in the series that I feel like can only actually be at one spot in the tier list. And I don't know why. Obviously, this is all my opinion, but I feel like it's impossible to hate Kaito, but it's impossible to also extremely love Kaito as your favorite. And I don't have an explanation as to why. It just feels like where I place him is where everyone else places him. I don't really know why. But I do like Kaito a lot. His personality is great. He constantly, cheers Maki and Shuichi on. He's just great. He's a very humble dude, and I'm very glad he was in the game. A little bit disappointed though by chapter 5. Not because for any particular reason, but because whenever he was revealed to be the killer, nobody really, not even Kaito, really stopped to mourn Kokichi after that. Everyone else was kind of mourned in their own special way, but Kokichi was just blatantly fucking ignored. And I guess it makes sense considering his behavior in chapter 5, but it's still kind of fucked up. But his execution was absolutely amazing, and he got to go to space at least, so there's that. Swag. A tier. He could be a little less annoying on the sidekick thing, but Kirumi. I'm heartbroken by Kirumi. I was really interested in Kirumi, in her character, in her personality, and everything she does. She had the perfect murder plan as well. That was insane. It just falls back down on she doesn't have anything in the game itself. Pretty much all of her story, without going into her social link, is given to you right before she dies. And that, I feel, is kind of wasted in a way. It just feels like a nothing character, because Kurumi is just treated like a maid the whole damn time. And while she is a maid, she is very clearly much more than a maid. And she is somewhat good in the games as well. She fucking full sprints towards Kokichi in chapter 2. That's funny. But she doesn't have too much going for her, though. It's not enough to make me feel like I can put Kurumi any higher, because she just feels so robbed and so wasted in a way. that it just makes me feel like I couldn't like her any more than I do. And I really want to. And I want to place her higher because she is very cool and very amazing. But I can't. She has to go in C tier for that reason because there's just not enough of her. And it sucks because I think if given enough time, Kurumi could be like an A tier character. But all of her backstory is given right before she dies. Like all of the reason to like this character, and then she just kind of up and dies. Her execution's great. I'll say that much. But C tier Kurumi, unfortunately. Kokichi Oma. This little shit goes in S tier. Congratulations, the first antagonist I actually enjoy in the games. Holy shit. Kokichi was an extremely fun antagonist to play around with. I think this is an antagonist done extremely well. I think everything about Kokichi is great. His personality, his jokes, the way he interacts with other, people. Which is another thing. Byakuya and Nagito, the antagonists of the previous games, they are both sitting in D tier. And it's because one deep reason is because they all kind of treated the cast the same way. Nagito had this one-note thing where he would treat everyone with so much respect because they were ultimates. But he wouldn't do the same for Hajime. Byakuya is just blinded by nepotism and would treat everyone the same way because he thought they were beneath him. Kokichi just fucks around and dicks around with everybody, regardless of who it is. And yeah, you could also say that's one note, but he does it for different characters as well. His way of fucking around could mean different things. For example, he just ticks off Kibo sometimes with his robot comments. He manipulates Gonta with, his stupidity. His main rival, I guess, is Miyu, with the way that they both shit-talk each other in trials. Different ways he fucks around with people makes him so much more fleshed out as a character to me. He's just extremely fun. He's the very first Danganronpa antagonist I actually really, really enjoy, and they hit it on the mark so well. Korekio Shinguji. Oh, man. So, at first, I wasn't a huge big fan of Korekio. I thought he was kind of boring, he was kind of dark, he was just kind of blank and gray. Yeah, sure. He talked about his talent outside of his social link, which is social link. Jesus Christ. He talked about his ultimate outside of his report card, which I'm a sucker for. I do like it when characters do that, because otherwise it just feels like a title and not something that they're passionate about, even if they aren't passionate about it. But I don't know. Anthropology could be interesting for some people. It's not really interesting to me, so that kind of docked points, unfortunately. I also just think he was very creepy and sleazy at times. Like, I felt very uncomfortable when I had to talk to him. And then, that would have been all well and good. He would have been just probably like a C, D tier character. And then, the incest plot. Oh my god. I have a no-nonsense rule when it comes to that. And as a result, Korekio goes in F tier. I am very sorry to Korekio fans everywhere. I can't fucking stand him. Fuck this guy. He can rot. For all I give a shit. Sorry. Let's talk about someone infinitely better. Maki Arukawa. Arguably, the best character arc in all of Danganronpa. She's a little bit cold. She's a little bit distant in the first, couple chapters of the game. But she more than makes up for it by the end. Because, oh my god, she was amazing. I originally didn't like her because of her introduction was just kind of cold and shit. And I was like, okay, who do you think you are? But it changed so much. It changed so often. It was great. I really liked Maki. Maki is one of those weird situations where like it's kind of hard to talk about her because I feel like everyone knows why Maki is loved. Everyone would know why I love Maki the same way other people do. That's what Maki feels like to me. So she's just great. I don't know. Her backstory is amazing. Her whole character arc is great. Her whole character arc is great. Kaito crush thing, amazing. How she gets warmed up to the name Maki roll. It's great. S tier. Maki's amazing. Miu Iruma. Underrated. I'll say that much. I see a lot of people hate Miu, and for good reason. She is a very sexual character, and not a lot of people like that. I feel like other than that, though, she carried this game so fucking hard. She guessed all of the goddamn culprits, and she was funny while doing it. Her rivalry with Kokichi gave her something else that wasn't just, moaning. Her ultimate gave her another purpose that also wasn't just, sexual and everything. She was a big, prominent figure throughout the entire game. And honestly, that's what kind of made her love Miu in a way, because of her prominent use throughout the game. Her personality was fine. I personally don't mind a sexual character as long as it wasn't Korekio. As long as it doesn't go down that route or whatever. So that didn't really bother me too much. Plus, I just thought it was funny how she got angry and stuff a lot. I don't know. It's just funny to me. I don't know. I like Miu. And honestly, I could see her acting that way in real life. If, you had the brains and the beauty like she did. I could kind of see it. Or maybe not. I think that would be annoying, actually. There's a reason these characters are fictional. A tier. Rantaro Hamami. Man. People like this guy a lot. And yeah, sure, I get why. To me, though, unfortunately, too little. I understand Rantaro fans on why they like Rantaro. And I think that his whole involvement with the game is done pretty well, especially in the last chapter. I feel like, though, it would hit a little bit harder if Rantaro died later. Yeah, sure. You never get to find out what his ultimate is until the end of the game. But at the same time, if you make him the first death in the whole game, it kind of doesn't leave a good impression, because it feels like a lot of Chapter 1 deaths feel like they just want to put the character away because they don't have anything for them. And that's what Rantaro feels like. And while it wasn't the case, thankfully, it didn't make me... I didn't vibe with the character very well because of how little he was in the game. Especially with his ultimate talent being unknown, it left me wondering what it was. And while that may have been the point, I kind of just forgot about it because of the rest of the game playing on as normal. He's C tier to me. He's still good. I still enjoy him. But just based on all of the stuff that happens, I don't know. C tier to me. Could have been done much better, I feel. Ryoma Hoshi. He's not bad. I do enjoy him. I think he's a little bit... It goes a little flat with his, having nothing to live for. I feel like if you're a character that has nothing to live for outside of the game and wasn't actively doing anything on it, I feel like a character like Ryoma would fight a little bit harder to stay in the game for as long as possible, because it gave him something to do. It gave his life meaning. I feel like if he lived longer and found meaning in his life based on the game and everything, he would have a better appreciation for it. But unfortunately that didn't happen. His motive video is empty. He literally has nothing to go back to. And unfortunately, he has a talent that they don't really go into that much. Ryoma himself is great. I think his personality is very fun. I never talked about the character's designs in this video, but I also like his design of his outfit a lot. I think he's just nice. I mean, he's a good character, you know? I don't hate him, I don't love him. He's B tier. You know, he's fine. Respectable Ryoma placement, I feel. Shuichi, the second protagonist of V3. He's I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't really know how to talk about Shuichi. He's certainly a protagonist. I didn't like him I didn't like him being the protagonist at first. I got over it, obviously. I grew into Shuichi and everything. It just felt so boring to me, unfortunately, and I kind of just never recovered. Shuichi's whole backstory is kind of confusing, because why was he the ultimate detective when he just accidentally solved the case? It doesn't really make sense to me. I feel like it also just kind of puts Shuichi into doing something that he never really had interest in, I guess. I'm not sure what to think about Shuichi, even now. Despite him being a protagonist and seeing how he expresses himself, I still have to put him in the same tier as I put the other protagonists, which was B tier. I don't really mess with Shuichi all that much. I think it could have benefited so much more from Kaede being the protagonist and Shuichi being like the mastermind or something. That would have been really cool. But there's nothing really for Shuichi. However, I do think him and Kokichi would be a great couple and they should get together immediately. Tenko Chabashira. She never shuts the fuck up about hating men. I'm not kidding. Usually I kind of exaggerate something like that, because like when I say, for example, if I say something like Angie never shutting the fuck up about being religious, that wasn't all she said. But with Tenko, I feel like hating men was quite literally all she said. There was nothing that felt different about Tenko's speech that wasn't hating men or loving Himiko. There wasn't anything of substance in there. She does gain some points for being like reasonable in chapter 3. Like, she doesn't hate men, or not, at least not talk about hating men that much, and instead she goes into trying to protect Himiko and making sure Himiko's okay, and even technically sacrificing her life for Himiko. I mean, she did, but like, she did the whole seance thing for Himiko and had this big old speech and everything for Himiko. She took a turn there, and it was something. I also wish she got to use her talent more. One of the issues I have with the research labs, the ultimate labs, is that yeah, it gives them a place to do their talent when it would make sense for where they were captive to have that. But it also just locks the reasoning for any other character that doesn't have a research lab to not have it, to not do their talent. And that's what I think Tenko lacked, is that yeah, she was an ultimate Aikido master, but it would have been nice for her to be doing some Aikido without having to go into her lab. Tenko goes in C tier for the reasons stated. It's fine though. It is what it is. Last on this list is Tsumugi Shirogane, the mastermind of this whole thing. And oh my god, I can't believe Tsumugi was the mastermind. And that's not in a good way. I think the entire mastermind thing she was doing was corny as fuck. She did nothing the entire game. She did jack fuck all throughout the entire game except whine about how something was dangerous or some shit. And then never did anything else. How am I supposed to think that Tsumugi was a good mastermind when she just shat her pants and picked her nose the whole time? Absolutely not. I think Tsumugi is a terrible, terrible character. One thing I will give Tsumugi, though, is I think her whole plan explaining, like, the whole reason behind Danganronpa as a whole, I think that was good, but only when she was cosplaying as characters from the previous games. When she was explaining it herself, she sounded like she had just this giant ego boost that didn't sound like she was a mastermind. It sounded like she had a god complex, and it was so fucking annoying, not only because of that, but because it's also just Tsumugi. I made fun of Tsumugi during the latter half of the game because she wouldn't do anything. I consistently made fun of Tsumugi. The whole cosplaying as different characters from the games thing, that is basically the only time she ever talks about her talent without going into a report card. Only other time was when she turned pink because she has cosplayitis or something. In chapter 1. Never again. And yeah, maybe the game makes fun of that by saying she's plain. That is no excuse. You could at least try to make her not plain before deciding to reveal herself as the mastermind. Plan which didn't fucking work, and I hated, personally. There is not a single thing I could say about Tsumugi that could probably help her case here. I despise her. She is an awful character, and she's going in F tier. Because, holy hell, that is bullshit. Wasted character, whole lot of wasted potential for some half-assed mastermind reveal that doesn't really make sense anyways. That is my Danganronpa V3 tier list. It's not ordered, but it's done. That is the last Danganronpa tier list video. I know people do the every Danganronpa character tier list. I will not be doing that. But on screen right now is an ordered list of every Danganronpa character, except for Spare Girls, because fuck that. Every single Danganronpa character, from best to worst, in order by tiers. That is my Danganronpa character list. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I did recording, because this was fun. I don't know what I'm gonna do next. I still, I guess, have the Zero Escape stuff to do, but I kind of fell off on that game. I think I'm like halfway through Virtue's Last Reward or something, or at least halfway through the routes, I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know what I'll do next. But I still hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.